Hi, and welcome to this edition of the Bobcat Buzz Podcast, where we talk about the buzz at Frontier Community College. I'm Derek Dunn, your host. We thank you for watching and listening to the podcast, as it can be streamed through the Facebook page, the college's Facebook page. If you haven't liked it, do so already, or the college's YouTube channel, and subscribe if you haven't done so. My guest for the May edition of the Bobcat Buzz Podcast is Frontier Community College alum Alexa Price.
Hi.
Alexa. Hey, Alexa. Well, Alexa, she is a 2022 graduate of FCC and is from Mount Carmel, Illinois, where she is currently employed at Wabash General Hospital in the marketing department. And Alexa, thank you for joining me here today.
Thank you. I am so happy to be here.
Well, I'll tell you what. So I got to ask, you're from Mount Carmel,
Yes.
35 miles away from here. So what led you to Frontier Community College?
So I got offered a scholarship to play volleyball here. And so I came, I visited, I was taken on a tour, and I immediately loved it. You know, the atmosphere and everyone I met and talked to was so welcoming, and I immediately knew it was the right fit for me.
Okay, so you came here. Nixie was your head coach.
Yes.
And Nixie currently serves as athletic director here. So you come here on a volleyball scholarship.
Yes.
And so, my next question is, you were involved as an athlete. You took several courses here. So describe the experience when you stepped foot on campus and all the way until graduation. Obviously, the experience of being a Bobcat here.
Yes. So my experience being a student and an athlete here, it was great. And despite being injured both seasons, the time that I had to play the sport that I love is something that I'll never forget. You know, I was able to create lifelong friendships, and I really learned a lot from my experience, such as self-discipline, teamwork, responsibility, and leadership. Juggling a sport and schoolwork cannot always be the easiest sometimes, and the instructors were always understanding and considerate. They truly wanted you to succeed.
Mm-hmm. And I think, I played sports myself in grade school. I played basketball for a couple of years under Marty Slover, who is now the assistant coach for softball.
Yes.
And the one thing I've learned is that you can learn life lessons outside the classroom in sports. And I think for you, it's like you learn lessons not only as a student here, but also as an athlete here.
Yes. And they really helped develop me for, life outside of college.
Mm-hmm. What were your favorite classes? And also, what were your favorite instructors here at FCC?
Yes, my favorite class was speech class my freshman year. And it's ironic I say that because high school me would have never wanted to get up and give a speech. I quickly found a new passion and have loved public speaking ever since. My favorite instructors would have to be Mike Dreeth. Mm-hmm. He was my speech instructor. Nixie, mm-hmm. Linda Monge, and Kim Wellen.
Okay. Well, you talk about speech for a moment. I took speech here at Frontier before I went to Wabash Valley to get my radio and TV degree. Okay. And so speech, the one thing I remember about speech class out here, which was taught by Judith Puckett at the time, was the hardest thing for me was maintaining eye contact and also having that memory. You go over your speech so many times by yourself, mm-hmm. but then when you're in front of a class, mm-hmm. that's when you feel like the pressure is just mm-hmm. cranked up.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I mean, after my first speech, it just came naturally. I really didn't get nervous. It was really an adrenaline rush, and I absolutely loved it. I had so much fun.
Do you remember, if you don't mind me asking, do you remember what your first speech was about? Or?
My first speech was an introduction speech. So I got to talk about, where I was from, who I was, my family. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, I wondered what it was because when I took speech, we did like a variety of topics.
Yes.
I heard one about horse racing that I recall. There was also tractor restoration. And even one about snacks as well. So there's a lot of topics regarding speech. But that's interesting because public speaking is a common fear amongst
Yes.
people.
Yes, it really is. My friends during class, I think some of them thought I was a little crazy, but I always told them, I just love it. I don't know. It's just so natural for me.
Well, so I got to ask, what was your major here at Frontier? Because you came here on an athletic scholarship to play volleyball. And how did Frontier help you prepare for your career?
Yeah, so I came to Frontier not really knowing what I wanted to do. So I took a general science and arts major. And with what I do now, I would say my speech class and my composition classes really helped develop those skills that I use.
So you talk about that, and we're here in the recording studio where there's a lot of memories here because this is where we record the podcast at. And you helped out with some recordings as well, from kind of like maybe introducing, like presenting something. For example, I remember the CSI shark attack last year, and we have footage of that here coming up, but also the light board, using it for financial literacy. Explain the experience of, doing all these things in here, going back to, a year, 2 years ago.
Yeah, my experience, being in the studio here really was my first new opportunity at, reading off a teleprompter and really speaking and using my voice and, speaking clearly. And it was a great experience. I really learned a lot.
So following graduation, you get employed at Wabash General Hospital. So what are your duties over there at WGH?
I am a marketing associate, and I work closely with the Executive Vice President of Business Development and Foundation and Digital Marketing Specialist to execute marketing messages regarding providers, services, health education, and wellness. I develop communications for newspapers, radio, and billboard promotion, and I absolutely enjoy it.
What advice would you give to an incoming college student? And even since we talked about how May is like graduation month, for a student who just graduated from college?
I would say for an incoming college student, don't think that you have to have it all figured out your freshman year. It's okay to take a general major and really find your passions. Be intentional with every decision you make and take your time here and what you learn seriously because it will help develop you for your future career.
I was helping out recently with after prom at the high school. And one of the advices that I gave to the students was never say the sky is the limit, for there are footprints on the moon.
That's good.
And so I think also step out of your comfort zone a little bit when you're in college, because there are areas that you may be like thinking, oh, I'm kind of dreading over, I'm a little too scared. But you never know until you try it, and you may like it.
Yeah.
And for you, in this case, you came here on an athletic scholarship.
Yeah.
And you through the experience here and taking speech, as you mentioned earlier, it's really helped you out.
It really has, tremendously.
Yeah. So let's go ahead here, and I'm going to ask another question here. We were talking about this earlier. I mean, you graduated a year ago.
Only a year.
It doesn't seem like it.
No, it doesn't. It seems a lot longer than that.
It's flown by quick.
Yes.
Just want to know, what are your future plans moving forward?
So my future plans moving forward is I will be starting online classes in the fall to complete my bachelor's in communications and really continue in my career and ultimately go where the Lord guides me.
Okay. So we've talked about your time here at Frontier. We talked about how you're helping, how you're in the marketing team at Wabash General Hospital. Is there anything else that you have not mentioned yet that you would like to mention?
I don't think so.
Okay. But I will say that you've had a great experience here at Frontier.
Yes.
You were one of the first students I met because Carol Dreeth, Debbie Bryant told me there's a student here who has helped out with the recording studio
Yeah.
with filming, from presenting to, and then I met you, and then a little bit later on, like about I mentioned the CSI shark attack and how, it's like you were great here at what you did.
Thank you.
And so it was great to meet you
Yes,
about a year ago. And so anyway, it's great to hear from alumni, and I hope that you've been spreading the word about Frontier.
Yes, I have.
Awesome.
And I do.
I do too, wherever I'm out and about,
Yes.
So anyway, it is great to have you here.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm Derek Dunn. That wraps up this edition, the May edition of the Bobcat Buzz Podcast. Stay tuned for the June edition. Again, thanks to Alexa for joining me here today, and have a good rest of your day. And again, we'll see you next month.